Hello, Aquarius. I appreciate you being here. Today we're going to do a general reading for the dates of September the 27th through October the 11th. I wanted to kind of stretch out maybe a 2 week scenario. We are going to be doing the read over the top of the starboard because the archetype for Aquarius is the star card. And we're going to talk about both of these two, the divine feminine and divine masculine. So um, we will get into the read. I will move my beautiful mug out of the way here. But just in general, Aquarius themselves, born between January 20th and February 18th. So the Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. Also, they are analytical, detached, but yet deeply caring. They are humanitarians and idealistics, um, inventive and eccentric. Just some fun little facts there, and you already know that about yourselves, but maybe somebody doesn't realize they're an Aquarius. I don't know. Anyway, I promised to move my face out of the way, so here we go. So we're starting off with a little bit of deception here. Okay, the card that I'm seeing in the very first position there talks about deception and also maybe a little bit of immaturity since the Page of Swords showed up. So hopefully you didn't just click right on out of here as soon as I said that. We're going to talk about this though. So the Five of Swords in the upright position. We could be talking about air signs right out the bat because we have two back-to-back sword signs. Gemini, right? Libra, Aquarius. Yeah, so the Five of Swords in the upright talks about, like these battles that are won at no matter what the cost, kind of a scenario. But we're going to take a look. We'll look at a reveal card on that one, and then followed by the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is a youthful energy that's, spry, young, ready, energetic, moving towards something, maybe with some information. But the page seems to be looking back upon this definitely a masculine energy here of the Five of Swords. So we're going to look at the Five of Swords, like I said, I promised, and take a look, see why that's showing up in that active position there. So Five of Swords reversed, a reconciliation, a resolution, learning from mistakes, healing, perspective, moving on. Aquarius, we could be talking about a relationship, maybe. We could talk about we could be talking about emotional healing, moving on. I don't know. We're gonna find out though. I'm gonna shuffle again and see what comes up in the manifesting position. This third slot right here. So we have the masculine, the feminine, or the active, the passive, and then the manifesting, and then the final card is our grounding, or what you're stabilizing yourself into. This could be past, this could be present, this could be future. I don't really like to judge right off the bat. Sometimes I will, but I'm feeling more of a kind of a general collective reading right now. So if you could put those two together, that's what I'll do. So somebody's trying to manifest strength, the compassion, maybe listening to this story of this emotional reconciliation. Okay. Where normally the Six of Swords would be in the upright, talking about moving out of troubled waters. Perhaps you decided to stay grounded in this situation. Let's look at the Six of Swords. We had the Five of Swords all the way in the dominant position, in the reversed. And so now the Six of Swords shows up. So let's look at the six. See why the six showed up in your grounding. Emotional baggage, turbulence, fear of moving on, instability. Maybe somebody, maybe there was a relationship where there may have been, avoidance, hesitation, fear of moving on, turbulence. I had a couple of these reads earlier, and I kind of like, sometimes, I think a tarot reader has to ask themselves whether or not the energy stayed with them on the previous readings. But sometimes I will clear my energy and rest, recover, rejuvenate, that type of thing before I do a reading. But I feel like what we're seeing here is somebody has lied to you. Okay. And it's taken everything in your power to listen to this lie, perhaps. And maybe they're sharing information about their you know, their emotional attachments to things. I don't know where the Five of Wands shows up down here. You know, it leads me to believe it's an internal emotional instability. Um, and if you are the Page of Swords, then you're listening to this come in, and I'm not sure that you're believing it, right? Maybe somebody's trying to woo you. Maybe somebody has entered into you with this energy of, I'm going to come forward with a really sad story, and that way maybe we can connect. But I feel like it's just taken with the Strength card here, everything you've got to just hold your boundaries, you know? Like I said, when we saw the Six of Swords here, um, let's look at that again. And maybe just because we went through that, emotional baggage, yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling, like this instability, fear of moving on. Maybe somebody is, you know, avoiding a turbulent scenario, and they're coming with you for, and you know, or coming at you. I'm gonna keep going here. Let's see. So anyway, the Ace of Cups. Yeah, the Ace of Cups is a divine offering, right? A divine relationship, some divine spiritual guidance, some enlightenment. But it's in the reversed position, you know, and then it's followed by the Ten of Cups. So this happy home, happy reunion. What's interesting is I see this Page of Swords energy right here, you know, that youthful spirit, that energetic spirit. So you're high and spry and mighty and everything's good, and you're using compassion and strength. You're not using brute force to try to reconcile any differences that you may have in a relationship, or some communication that has come into you one way or the other, text or phone call or email, however that works. But and then we saw the Five of Wands in the reversed position. So let's look at that too again and see. So that cooperation, harmony, compromise, a reconciliation, and an agreement. Yeah. So an agreement, reconciliation. However, with the Ace of Cups in the reversed position, I'm not so sure that that was resolute. I'm not so sure that you believed it. I'm not so sure that um, the emotional, that the message they were trying to give to you filled the cup the way that they had expected. Um, let's see. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I got to look at that one real quick. Ace of Cups reverse. So healing, emotional disconnect, vulnerability, isolation, emptiness, repression, and blockages. Okay, maybe this is somebody you really cared about who came to you like this, right? Maybe this was your partner. Maybe this was somebody in your family, because it is followed. It appears that maybe you were in, you know, trying to manifest this happy life, um, in the third position here. Wow. Okay. And let's see. So the Nine of Cups is followed by the Ten of Cups in a reversed position, and the Ten of Cups. Yeah, we'll go ahead and look at that too, just because. But we already kind of assume we know, right? Disconnection, disharmony, family conflict, and instability, and unhappiness, attention. Gonna have to pull this energy from the spirits here, because I'm thinking that, wow, you know what? I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going. Maybe this will open up and tell a little bit better story. But the Nine of Cups talks about, you know, that somebody has some, you know, they have some things under their belt. They've got their emotional stability, which I'm seeing this as the Page of Swords, the Strength, and this Nine of Cups. You know, all these are in the upright. And I feel like this energy that is involved revolves around maybe family structure or some kind of outside source, some kind of outside. Yeah, with the Five of Wands in the reverse position too. So multiple people around you that are talking to you about maybe this information that you received, you know, and I don't know nothing about the information yet is what I'm getting at. And perhaps this nine of swords or nine of cups is all about that information, emotional, um, something you were looking forward to maybe, but like I said, when the information came in, it just seemed a little bit shady and not trustworthy, right? A very loaded type of question, perhaps, and it's got you, with the Ace of Cups reversed and the Ten of Cups. I got to keep going. This is like incomplete. Aquarius, what is the question that you want to know? We've got the Seven of Pentacles, followed by, or the Sun is following the Seven of Pentacles there. So, Seven of Pentacles talks about emotional health, wealth, stability, right? And there are all these pentacles. These are seeds that you've planted and you've watched them grow. You've watched them manifest. You're a manifester. You planted another seed and you're just kind of waiting, watching patiently. So it's kind of a patient card, but it's also kind of like waiting, wondering type. And I see the gray skies, and that gray skies is kind of indicative of that. You know, um, it's in the gray, not really not knowing. It's kind of a slow time, slow going. So maybe it's referring to this happiness that you're looking forward to with this Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups doesn't necessarily have to be family life, but it could be some kind of news that would make you happy, perhaps, to add to your cups over here, right? Some kind of award, some kind of something. This could be somebody, anything from, let's say, you know, somebody promised me a position at the dance studio. Somebody told me I could get the job at um, a media office or something, somewhere where you could progress in your environment through work related or something like that. But I'm not really seeing a whole lot of pentacles until we get here. So the Ace of Pentacles is that kind of offering, perhaps something that you were waiting on that is still not happening. And it all evolves around this kind of a shady, you're not quite sure. So that's really why I sometimes like to wait to judge that out, come out, because this kind of stems around maybe instead of a family, let's say like a structured place where, there may be a hierarchy, there may be some kind of system involved that you've got a process you got to go through, and you're just not quite sure. So I'm not even getting that relationship yet. But anyway, so we got the Ace of Swords in the reverse position also. So two aces here, okay? And the aces are the beginnings of these situations, the beginning of this financial, the beginning and of the communication that's supposed to take place. And apparently it's in this reverse position, so they're not taking place, right? So it's got you in kind of a emotional block, you know what I mean? So we're looking at the Four of Cups in the reversed position also. So we'll take a look at the Four of Cups and see why it showed up. Oops. Let's go shift path forward and take a look at that. Awakening, clarity, acceptance, reconnection, motivation, perspective, emotional shift, engagement, and renewal. Was that in your past? Was all that stuff in your past? And you needed to tell that story first in order to tell us that you're moving on, you're reconciling differences? Because me personally, I like to go right straight to the good stuff and leave all that negativity behind. But anyway, I apologize. I'm not trying to make light of the situation, but here we go. So anyway, so we looking like the energy is shifting here, right? There's another energy perhaps, and maybe these are two other energies that you're dealing with. I'm not really seeing. We've got the ace. We got, you know what? I say that we could have third party situation as well, because we do have three aces sitting in the deck. We do have a feminine position ace, okay, and a manifested, and then a stable ace. So the stability would be in the communication coming in. That has helped you to reconcile something. Let's see, the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands talks about looking out, looking into a new opportunity. But the Three of Wands reversed. We're going to look at that now. and see why the Three of Wands showed up in the reverse position. Still delays, resistance, doubt, limitations, and obstacles. You know what, Aquarius? Maybe you're not a very good speaker. Maybe perhaps you're, you don't like to be boisterous or to come forth. That's what I'm getting, like throat chakra scenario, like really speaking your piece, speaking your mind. You're very patient, right? You manifested this strength, this patient. You move with patience instead of like this ego. You don't move through your ego. So, um, but you're just waiting. Okay, it's fine. I'll just wait. Um, hmm, what are we waiting on? What is it we're waiting on? Justice? Even though it's imbalanced for you, you're waiting on justice. Justice in the reverse position. Let's see why justice in the reverse position showed up now. Avoidance, corruption, and I feel like the avoidance is really, you're avoiding something. Talk to me, Aquarius. It's okay. Let your energy go. Take a deep breath. Let it go. Maybe somebody misjudged. Maybe you misjudged the situation. And now you have to maybe reconcile that, because we did see the reconciliation. Okay, so maybe you acted quickly upon something that you thought was imbalanced, was unfair, was, because we're seeing the Hanged Man, so it's put you in introspection. Aquarius, if this is your story, and maybe you're like saying, I need to apologize to somebody, to something, someone, or maybe jumping to conclusions on somebody. Ah, look, a union. Okay, coming together, a union with and temperance, balance with spirituality and harmony, balancing out the aspects of our spiritual self. She wears the yod, she has and adorned with the spiritual side. One foot on land, one foot in the water. Pouring the cup, which represents the spirituality. We could be talking about water signs here. But the four of wands, why would we wait so long? That is the question. To remain without maybe an apology or an understanding. Maybe you're coming into a union now. So you're maybe, I'm not sure what you're asking. Does this person still want to be with me? Will this person, still take me back? I got to look at the Four of Wands and give you a better idea here. Let's look at the Four of Wands. Celebration, harmony, community. That's kind of a as a pretty generic version. Let me go in a little bit deeper with the Four of Wands. So hold tight. I'm going to look up the Four of Wands again, because and the reason I'm doing this is because I need to pull out a little bit more information here, because obviously it was pretty bleak as far as relationship wise, and then we moved into that very third turn again, and it was like you finally started to talk to me and tell me something. So I want to look at the Four of Wands in the reversed or in the upright position and see if we can pull out of it a little bit more than just its generic version here. Four of Wands, celebration, stability, and joyful milestones. So celebrating a milestone. Security, achievement, a moment of pause to appreciate success. Recognizing milestones before moving forward. Homecoming, a harmony in relationships, or a well-earned sense of security. Just a transition into a period of happiness. They say it's kind of linked to like weddings and reunions, but I tell you, growth, abundance, and festivity. This is kind of a slow read. I'm not sure. This is pretty specific, and I apologize. It's just one of those deals that the cards reveal sometimes. look, it's not always about us. It's about other people, right? That even the most small person is heard in the universe, and whoever this is applying to, I kind of feel like you've are weighing out the spiritual side, um, and the balance of your your grounding side with this temperance showing up. But I'm still not sure of the question that you're trying to ask. I'm going to keep shuffling here. We're going to keep going. I owe that to you. We have to have an answer. And like I said, maybe this is a person who's not very good with words. They're more about, I can show you by action, but I cannot tell you my words. And I'm totally down with that. I understand that. Sometimes people, it's hard to express. They're sometimes just not the right words, right? I mean, words are just, they just, you know, they don't do it. They don't do it sometimes. But we have the high priestess in reverse too, which would explain temperance there. So the balance in your spiritual side, your intuition side. Um, yeah, and like I said, I just feel like there was an apology that needed to be made to you, or an apology that you needed to make. And I can't quite decide which one it is. And there's a sudden death at the end with the 10 of swords. Aquarius, are you just needing to vent? It's totally, this is where the place is, to do that. It's okay. Whoever this is for, it's okay. If you made a mistake, it's okay. It's never a mistake. You know what I mean? It's always a learning curve. So, I mean, that's one thing you could look at. I'm not blaming nobody. There is no blame here, nothing like that. But yeah, so the mystery of the Queen of Cups, is in the reverse position. So I feel like you're just wondering. You're wondering, is this a possibility still? You're keeping this in the back of your mind. Wondering, is it over? Is it end? Is it done? And it's really got you turned upside down, spiritually speaking. Um, I'm surprised we're not seeing the 9 of Swords. But anyway, yeah. So we also have the 3 of Pentacles, which talks about, this collaboration, and there seems to be none. No collaboration, no contact, no, super disconnection, isolation. And with the Queen of Cups right next to it. So it's really got you curious. That's a curious scenario in the reverse position. King of Wands, tyrannous, chaotic, and then death in the reversed position. So King of Wands talks about tyranny, chaos, manipulation, control, aspect of something. And maybe that is, it's weighing very heavily upon you. In other words, if that is the energy that we're talking about. So, but we have death also in the reversed position. So we're going to take a look at death in the reversed and see why that showed up in your stable side. And I would totally understand why you would be holding on to it. You know, uncertainty, clinging to the past. Okay. I'm going to keep going because I feel like you deserve to know, something more here. What is it? What is it that you're wanting? Pull out of these cards. You need some information. The Knight of Swords, you need clarity. The Knight of Swords rushes in boldly, and I think you need an answer now, right? Yep, there's your 9 of Swords. Okay. And the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse position. Okay. Well, unfortunately, I wished I could, wow. Aquarius, whoever this is for, if you're still with me here, take this advice with a grain of salt, because that's really all it is, just from one friend to the other. Okay, so not every read is going to be roses, right? Not every read is meant to be roses. If you came to the tarot expecting like a 1, 2, 3 way out of something, that's not how it works. In fact, in approaching this channel and approaching the tarot with me together is part of that You know, we saw the high priestess, we saw temperance. There's so many major arcana cards there that are talking about your emotional stability, that I feel like the universe is trying to tell me something here, because me personally is trying to relay to you something that you're avoiding, and that is putting off the spiritual work. I feel like I wasn't even really seeing as far as two people or multiple people relationship as much as I was feeling emotional. You're in an emotional state. Maybe you're going through a spiritual awakening. I mean, maybe you've considered that. Maybe you're like, dude, duh. Hey, don't shoot the messenger, right? I'm just trying to say, because the cards were, the energy was just wow, wow, wow. I'm just like, I feel sorry, because I feel like maybe you're crying, and you're so upset, and there's tears and your little eyes are swollen, and I'm just like, oh shit, you know, I'm not meaning to be mean or anything like that. Okay, if you're going through a spiritual awakening in this case, just know that I hate to do this, but it's time. It is just time. It takes time, and I know that is not like a soothing answer, right? So I love you. I'm giving you a huge hug, and I'm telling you that it will, I promise you, it will get better. But it just takes a day. It takes an hour more. It takes a few minutes more. It takes you waking up and maybe slowly changing one small habit that you do. I'm not going to talk about myself negatively anymore. I'm not going to repeat negative aspects about myself any longer. I'm not going to distrust anybody else anymore simply because I'm hurt. I'm going to allow whatever situation is, let it be what it's going to be. Those are the things that help you heal your heart. Those are the things that turn you from this masculine energy into the high priestess energy. Okay. Um, I apologize, but yeah, this spiritual awakening is hard. The dark night of the soul is deep, and unless you're in it, uh, if you've never been through it, people just won't understand. So you're going to feel isolated. You're going to feel alone. But just know that you're not alone. There are other people who have been going through this. You see, you know, thank you for the beautiful place on YouTube that we have to be able to share this type of stuff with people, right? Sorry, I had that cursor right, probably right up my nose there. But what I mean is this is a great platform to be able to do that, to share that, share your story right here on this particular video, and you know, be within the lines of word for word, you know, if you need to. This hurts my heart. This I feel alone. I feel isolated. I feel troubled, because there are going to be people who are going to watch this, and they're going to talk to you, and it's a way to. You know, I know we don't need to seek validation from other people, but sometimes it's good to know that other people have been in your position. You know, so my heart goes out to you, Aquarius. It's okay. I love you so very much. I do, with all of my heart. And I appreciate finally the energy exposing it, because I kind of feel like that's what happened there at the end. And maybe that's what it takes for you. You know, let down your vulnerabilities, cry if you need to cry, you know, scream if you need to scream. But we saw the hanged man. Just understand, the hanged man is an isolating type of energy that pulls you back away from everything, and you're going to notice changes around you. People, you'll be pulling away from people. You'll be, you know, people that you trusted before, you kind of move away from that. You tend to really start to dive into maybe esoteric information, you know, spiritual, religious, it doesn't matter, any of those things. That's because you're just shifting, you know? It's a cycle. And trust me when I say it's a cycle, it does not last forever. There is nothing that lasts forever. Nothing. Okay? The only thing permanent is energy. That's it. You can't, you know, create it, you can't destroy it. So you have to make a choice. And that's what the spiritual awakening is about, is making a choice that you're going to choose an energy that suits you, that benefits you, and sometimes that doesn't include people around us. It doesn't include even our parents or our loved ones or our siblings or our children. It doesn't include anybody but yourself. That's what this is about.
stripping you down to the bare bones. Understand that you should embrace death. You should embrace the breaking down the tower moment. Let the damn thing fall to the ground and rebuild with a new. You're strong. You're Aquarian, right? So that's what it's going to take. Just patience and a little bit of time, okay? Come back and see me and let me know. All right.